This is Stronger Than My Father with Marcus Manise.
Welcome to another episode of Stronger Than My Father podcast. I am your host, Marcus Manise Sr. Stronger Than My Father podcast is your most trusted podcast that's centered around restoring fatherhood in America. As you see, guys, I'm not in my normal studio, so I have to thank my good friend, Jim McCarthy, for allowing me to use his studio again to record another Stronger Than My Father podcast. If you're interested in renting out this studio, or if you're looking for a podcast producer, I encourage you to reach out to my good friend, Jim McCarthy at jmvos.com. Let's get to work. On this episode, I am interviewing a real good friend of mine who I've met about a month ago at a networking event. And his story told me about his story, and I was really interested in learning more because he is the CEO, Reginald Howard, is the CEO of RHOW Properties. I got it right. RHOW Properties. And I was more interested in learning about flipping homes, new construction, but we're going to start with fatherhood first. So thank you for coming on. Thanks you for driving out here to Jim's studio to record an episode with me.
Nice place.
And so first thing I always do with my guests is tell my guests who's listening a little bit about yourself.
Okay. All right, here we go. Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks, Mark, for having me on the show.
Yes, sir.
It's definitely an honor and a privilege to be here today. Reginald Howard, native Nashvilleian, graduated from Hunters Lane High School.
Boo. Right over there. Whites Creek.
No.
Whites Creek.
Yeah. Come on now, Warriors. And finished up at Fisk University.
Okay.
2018.
Fisk guy.
Non-traditional student, but Fisk guy. Nevertheless. So I got into dealing cars.
Yeah.
Had a car dealership on the corner of Brick Church and UN for several years, 20 years actually, 20 plus years. And then I started remodeling and building homes at the same time.
Okay.
And then, the car dealership slowed down a little bit and we just put more focus on building homes. And now RHOW Properties is definitely one of the best builders in Nashville, Tennessee.
All right, say shoot your shot, man. Shoot your shot. So for like upbringing, I always ask my guests, how was your upbringing growing up, relationship with your father?
Yeah.
And how did that kind of, I ain't going to say kind of, just how did that shape you to the man you are now? Because every home, you're going to be shaped some kind of way.
Right.
And so I tell guests with me, I was built through what my mom and dad, but primarily my dad built me to the man I am now. And my mom put the spiritual knowledge in me to be able to navigate this world. But for you, how was that relationship with you with your parents growing up?
Oh man, it was great. Mm-hmm. I mean, so I just feel so check this out. My mom, Miss Gladys, she was the third largest. She had 3 locations in one.
Okay.
Looking Glass Beauty Salon.
Okay.
So I had the opportunity to see mom just growing her beauty salons and having 3 locations, and my uncle, who was a contractor as well, he would go in and actually fix up the beauty salons and put a boutique in the front. And I just seen him do that over and over again, right? And never knew I was picking it up.
Oh, wow.
And and then I'm sweeping the floors for $1 or $2, and mom had like 10 beauticians in the back. So it was a thriving business for her. And then my pops, he was a truck driver, but on the side, he had a car dealership. Mm-hmm. So right next to Kroger's on Clarksville Highway, he had a car dealership there. So he would take me to the auctions when I was a small kid. And, we'd be out there freezing. Daddy, can I get some hot chocolate? No.
Try to toughen you up, baby.
Yeah, he definitely toughened me up. I go home and tell mom and stuff. But I didn't realize, man, that all of that has really shaped my life.
Yeah.
And so for the entrepreneurship that mom showed me and the entrepreneurship that dad showed me, that's really all that I'm doing now. I'm doing the same thing that I saw them do for several years.
Yeah.
And I'm just maybe perfecting it, and along with the technology now, I can do it much better than they can.
Yeah. Do you think it's important for kids to learn? Well, I say for you watch And you're just pretty much repeating what your parents, what you saw.
Absolutely.
Because my dad, I would say he's an entrepreneur. He has a lawn service business, been in business for over 30 years. But he did it to raise me and my brothers up to develop a hard work ethic. And plus, he didn't want us to get in trouble. Right. So his method was, I'm going to work you so hard, but you too tired to go get in trouble. Right. But now, and I know I'm kind of throwing you a curveball, what you're seeing going on here in Nashville, I think they just had a recent showing of 10 to 14-year-old boys carrying around guns and stuff like that. Right. In your professional opinion, do you think kids not growing up with that father figure and learning different skill sets is allowing them to go drift off and do other things?
Man, absolutely. You know, I can't imagine if I didn't have my father right there telling me to be on time. Yeah. Just I was scared of my father at first. You know what I'm saying? So, that method worked for a minute, not now, but I'm just saying that, but I was scared of my father. And, the discipline that he gave me along with the love, it worked. You know what I'm saying? And he was involved. So, the fishing, the taking me fishing and going to the car shows and all that. And I do that with my son now. Yeah. And I'm glad he was in my life. Yeah. So that's what I see. When people ask me about the fatherhood, when they see that kids out here are doing crazy things, I always ask, where's the father at? Yeah. Where was the father to lead that child? Because I believe, yes, mothers are important. They can do the things they need to do. Right. But I think, for me, in your opinion, from what I'm feeling, is that our father shaped me to work hard. Sure. He didn't really put entrepreneurship in me, but I realized that when my dad lost his job in 2008, he never worked for nobody else again. Yeah. He cut grass, and that's what he loved to do. That was his piece. Your dad with entrepreneurship, he wanted to show you that, hey, it's more out here to make money than just doing one job. My dad said, learn multiple skills, because you never know when you're going to need them. Right. So that's the thing where I feel like we both understand that with fatherhood. But for us fatherless boys out here, do you think that's one of the things that's missing out of these boys' life? 'Cause I get people debate me a lot saying that a woman can raise a child without a man. Yeah, woman can raise a child without a man. They have to. And so I tell them, I say you can, but they're gonna be missing key elements that's gonna help them in life. So do you think that's true? I see it every day. Oh wow. Yeah, I see it every day, and it just is what it is. Yeah. For a mom with a single family household, she's just doing what she has to do. Yeah. And, but I've seen a lot of good products come out of single family homes as well. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but I think definitely as long as the man can be involved, some kind of man or a father figure. Yeah. I mentor several kids, and It's just needed. So I take initiative to go out and mentor more men because I know the situation, Well, that's true. Yeah. So when we were talking before we recorded, you have 4 children, 3 boys, 1 girl. So how has that development from your father help you into raising your own children now? Man, I'm probably, my dad, he wasn't in the military, but he should have been. I mean, because he taught me how to shine my shoes and everything, right? And taught me how to wash my cars. Yeah, he was super strict, Yeah. And whatever he said, you better do it exactly that way, And I just remember he was, he kept the discipline on me. Yeah, for sure. So I appreciate all that. Like I said, I didn't get a lot of whippings. I wasn't a bad kid, thank God. But I'm vice versa to that. Oh, you vice versa? Oh man, I got toe up. Yeah, but I need. But all my friends, they love my dad. They're like, man, your dad got the car lot. You can go drive any car and this and that. But I'm like, man, you crazy? My dad is mean. You think they was missing not having that father? Then they missing that? I mean, some of them had their father, but they were just like, your dad's cool. I'm like, where is he cool at? Like, I don't see it. Well, people tell me that all the time. It was like, you lucky you had your dad. You was lucky. I said, you know what? I was lucky, right? But the work we had to do, I said, y'all have never been to a tobacco field. Oh, man. Going out there when it's weather like this here in Nashville now, right? 90-degree some weather, and you got to go cut tobacco. Oh, it breaks you. And then we had 3 jobs. We had grass cutting, tobacco, cut wood in the winter. Yeah. So from middle school to about 16, that was my job. Oh, and that's all we did. And
that shaped me. I told my wife one time, I said, I'm going to take my boys to the tobacco field. She said, you bet not. I said, I just want them to experience a little what I experienced growing up. But that was a different time.
Yeah.
But my father said that. He said, I want to work my boys hard, that if I die tomorrow, they know how to make it.
Right.
And so for you raising 3 boys, do you have to raise them all, your boys, differently, or are they similar, the same as you as a father?
Yeah, they're all different. So, from the oldest to the youngest, they're definitely different. But good guys. I mean, real good guys. They love their girlfriends. They love the kids. They have kids, and just good group, good guys that any woman should want to have.
Yeah.
And they had me as an example. So to see that.
So let me ask you this, Jim. This may be another therapy session for me. My oldest is 15. My youngest is 8. I'm not ready to let my 15-year-old go yet. When he turns 18, he's ready to leave the home and go off to college. I still struggle trying to say how I'm gonna handle that when I get up in the morning and I walk by his room and he's not there. He's gone off to college. So do you have any advice for me on that part? What I need to prepare for?
I don't, because I left the house when I was 18. So my dad, first of all, I'm 18 and he's like, your curfew is 10:30. I'm like, Dad, I'm like, God, girls had to come in at 11:30, 12. Come on now. And he was like, well, if you're gonna live in this house, and then they cut it, they shut it all the way down. He said, no company, and you can't have girls over. And I'm moving.
Just like it. You just told your dad, I'm out.
I'm out.
Wow. Did he try to stop you or anything? Or just go?
No. I went and moved. Me and a friend, we moved to Madison, and just started living my life. I did end up coming back though. Yeah. Maybe a year later, and but I came back because I was building a house or remodeling a house. I bought a house that he helped me buy, and I remodeled it. Yeah. And then and I just came back for about a year, and then went back out.
Well, my son tell me that at 18, Daddy, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, they go to dough. You grown.
Yeah.
But I think as a father, I will always say that if you go out here and you mess up,
right,
I'm going to always be here for you. I think that's I wasn't the typical, I was the middle child. They said the middle child gets in all the trouble. Mm-hmm. I don't know where he found that logic at.
Right.
But my dad had to shape me. He had to shape me. And sometimes I'm baffled by the work that I'm doing, that I'm helping kids. When I was, I was probably, I ain't gonna say I was the worst one, but I got in the most trouble at home. So that's something for me to always think about as well. So raising a girl, I've never had girls. Never had girls. I only have 2 boys. So for you as a dad, I just met your daughter, you coming in. Yeah. So how you start preparing her for life and these young men out here, man? How you start preparing her for that?
Man, I don't know. I used to be at the auction, and I was talking to a guy, a mentor of mine at the auction, Mr. Murphy, and he used to tell me how he was raised his daughter, and he was like, Reg, do everything you can for your daughter, so nobody can do more than you, or, until she gets to that age. And so I just try to just be involved with her and just show her what a decent man in me, looks like, basically. So I try to do everything I can with her, from traveling to telling her what's right and telling her what to wear and telling her what men like, and just try to keep her in line that way, because they're different now. You kind of got to coach them instead of tell them.
Coach them. I ain't never think of it. I tell my boys, I gotta coach them. But I understand what you're saying. I never had a girl. My youngest brother has 2 daughters.
Right.
And I was just never blessed to have a daughter.
Yeah.
But I just see how the world of society is now. Kids have cell phones. So you as a dad, how do you monitor that with your kids and cell phones and stuff like that? 'Cause I just bought my son a cell phone about a year ago.
Yeah. Well, thank God they got these apps now that you can kind of control, what apps they get on and what social
media that they're doing.
That they're doing. Yeah. So thank God for that's coming online tough.
Yeah.
So, but because I have, my daughter, I just had to say, hey, you can't do that,
Yeah.
And but I don't pay her cell phone bill, so she's kind of got free range. Yeah. But she does pretty good, But I do tell her, hey, look, put the phone down for a minute, let's be present and things of that nature. So Yeah. Well,
I do monitor my son's phone, because I just gave him one rule: if I see something inappropriate, it's gonna be gone.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know what else to tell you. I don't need to give you no 6, 7 chances. And then I don't know if I'm being an overbearing dad. There's sometimes I worry about that I'm being too overbearing, too overprotective, that when he gets out in the world, he's just going to get buck wild.
Right.
That's the thing I am concerned about. But for me as a dad, I want to be sure that I'm trying to train you right.
Yeah.
So when you have kids, you tell them, I don't know what social media is going to look like 20 years from now.
For real.
We don't even know what it's going to look like because when we were growing up, we didn't have this.
Sure didn't.
I didn't get a cell phone until I got out of high school. I had the big Miami Vice cell phone. So the cell phone has changed over the time. But I just know that I've interviewed several guests on here who we talked about monitoring social media. What do, especially for girls, to put out and stuff like that. So it's great to see that you monitor that thing. You tell them, hey, it's just inappropriate. Don't look at this. Don't look at that. Now, I'm still overbearing where my son is not on no social media platforms. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah,
I said,
it's best.
Maybe, I don't know. What's a good age? Tell me what's a good age for my son. Because I don't.
Man, this thing is going so fast. I couldn't tell you. I mean, we got AI now. I'm like, it's moving real quick. So, but I think just my daughter riding with me all the time.
Yeah.
She kind of knows what to expect and what avenues to go down. And so I feel confident about it. She's mature in that area.
Yeah,
sure.
but are you like a shelter dad, or you kind of like, I'm going to push you a little bit, let you start seeing what the world looks like, or you more like, I'm going to keep you in this little hole right here?
I'd have to ask my daughter that.
Okay.
Because I think I'll just let her float, and just show her just, what she needs to be doing to kind of, but she might well say different. I don't know.
You think so?
Yeah. Maybe.
Well, one thing you talked about, and I want to talk about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
That's a word that's running around rampantly now. There's a big myth that says that a lot of people should consider entrepreneurship than go to college. Me and you both are college grads. What do you think? You think we should push our kids more to entrepreneurship so when they graduate high school, they know where to go and they don't have to get in so much student debt or student loan debt? Or do you think we should push them to entrepreneurship? Kind of like, I feel like from just listening to you, it's kind of like what your dad wanted you to do. What do you think? Do you think entrepreneurship or go to college?
It just worked for me, and I was very, very fortunate to have two entrepreneur parents who they was like, mom was bad. Mom set example for a lot of beauticians and started a lot of beauticians and barbers as well. Yeah. So, I think if you're not ready for school, I think that's the avenue you gotta pick, right? Yeah. And instead of wasting all the money at school and flunking out and then having to go back and pay fees, and so I think if you know and are passionate about what you want to do as far as being a business owner, then go for it. Yeah. And if not, then get some training and get a job and then figure it out what it is. But I think everybody should have a side business, And I got that from Daddy, from I think he wanted to have his car dealership. He had it to retire. Yeah. But also, just imagine, he was selling a lot of cars just on the side. And so he sold a lot of cars to the guys that he rode trucks with, they drove trucks with, and he also bought the cars that they were selling, right? So he had a nice little business going. So imagine if he would have got fired or something back in the day, then he could have easily just transferred over to that job and got more serious about it and made it a living. Yeah. So did you jump from college into entrepreneurship, or did you work like different jobs and then one day like a light bulb clicked on and said, you know what? I could go flip houses, or I can develop new construction. Right. And then I said, you know what? I want to have my own business. So did something click one day and that happened to you when you started your business, your construction and property business? No. So check this out. So my first job was with my mom's coworker, not coworker, but so Burt's. That used to be in I remember Burt's. Yeah, Burt's I'm here. Yeah, Burt's I'm here. So our family member of ours owned that. Okay. Dang, Burt's. Yeah. Wow. And so that was my first job. So being able to see Thomas go in and start these businesses. Yeah. And I've just been around entrepreneurship all my life. I've seen him start. He even took me on the buying shows to Atlanta. And where they were buying the clothes and things like that, and stop by each booth. So all of that just, I got all of that in me. Right? Yeah. And so I saw all of that. So it was kind of by design, by default. That I'm an entrepreneur for sure. And so what led you to start RHOW
Properties. What led you to start that? From all the entrepreneurship training that you've had, what you've watched, what led you to start your own business as an entrepreneur? Because that's what I'm doing. I don't know. Is nonprofit an entrepreneurship business? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I
didn't really look at
service. And thank you again for your service. For
I appreciate that.
You're right on time with the Fatherhood podcast. I promise you.
I ain't gonna lie to you, dude. This has been the most scariest journey in my life of doing my nonprofit.
Oh yeah,
the most scariest journey, because it doesn't seem real to me. It don't seem real that I'm not punching the clock right now when I'm recording a podcast, and then I'm gonna go play golf after this.
Right.
It doesn't seem real to me, but I think just for you, what led you to start Our Homes Properties?
So basically, we were running the car dealership, and then we started taking the profits of the car dealership.
Yeah.
And most anyone who's successful, doctors, lawyers, real estate is king, right? So most people take their profits and buy real estate.
Okay.
So just seeing mom buy real estate and dad, they bought some investment properties and things like that. So that's what I did. So with my profit from the car dealership, I was buying little lots and things like that. And I had a mentor, Don Battle, thank God. And he was coming to, I met him on my first house I ever bought.
Okay. And
he was like, hey, I'm gonna start coming to get you, and we're gonna start looking at houses if this is what you want to do. I'm like, yeah, sure, And so he came and we hooked up everybody every other day, and we rode around for several hours and got lunch. And he was like, hey, buy this house, buy that house, buy this house. And, and those are the same properties I own today.
Wow.
Yeah. And come to find out that we were talking one day, and I told him what my dad was, and he was like, man, you're not gonna believe this. Your dad gave me my first job at the grocery store. Wow. And so, when I told him that, when we figured that out, it was really on then, right? So, I owe Don, I owe my life, man.
Well, what you said is the word mentor.
Yeah.
As strong as my father's what I do. Why is it so important for young men? And I had mentors outside of my father.
Right.
I had two. One deceased, one is still living. And they was close to my heart. And the one that's still living encouraged me to go back to college.
Yeah.
My father didn't. And not saying he's saying college was bad, but one day I was working in a factory and he said, man, why don't you go back to school and get your degree?
Yeah.
You smart enough.
Right.
And that's all it took. And I went back to Nashville Tech, wasted a lot of years. What you said earlier, wasted a lot of years. And once the light bulb clicked, I didn't stop. I went from Nashville Tech, Tennessee State, Trevecca, and I did all of that in under 6 years.
Oh man,
I went crazy.
Yeah.
And I did not want to fail. But for you growing up outside of your father, why was that important for that? You said Don to become your mentor.
Yeah.
How much did that change your life as learning how to develop to where you are now? And should teens get mentors like that to guide them, especially through high school and middle school and high school?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you just think about, thinking about my life, and I had Thomas at Burt's, right?
Yeah.
And then had my mom, of course, my dad, first of all.
Yeah.
Let's understand that. Daddy was first, because he showed me how to take care of home. Yeah. And showed me how to get up and go to work on time, And I thank my father too, because Daddy used to take us on a trip. He always had a custom van. Yeah. He used to take us on every summer. We would go somewhere, Denver. Every summer we go somewhere on vacation. So that's a good thing that you're doing too with your land.
Oh, my vacation. Yeah, man. Yeah. But everybody need to take a vacation.
Yeah, not everybody don't. But my dad made a priority, which was great.
Yeah.
But looking back at the mentors with Thomas and Don, my mom, my father, Steve Whitson, he's my everyday mentor now. And I didn't realize, and just sitting here talking to you now, man, they really shaped my life.
Yeah.
They really did. And just with, telling me what to do as far as walking strong and just watching them basically, they didn't even have to say many words. They just kind of took me under the wing and just showed me the right way to do things, Yeah. So, I mean, mentor, that's it.
That's what I want. I told you it's the way, man. That's why when I didn't learn the power of networking and the other tools growing up. I grew up, got out of high school, didn't have no direction to go.
Yeah.
All my mom said was go to Nashville Tech. I went there. There wasn't no mentor to grab me and say, okay, what's your passion? What do you enjoy doing? So you can start looking for careers. I just thought it was going to be business. Then I went to computers to be like my brother. Right. I failed at that. So it wasn't until this lady asked me, what do you enjoy doing? I said, I just love helping people. And she said, take up psychology. And then I realized I couldn't make no money. So that's why I went to organizational leadership. But I think just this podcast is talking, I wanted people to understand the power of mentorship and how much it's important to have somebody to guide you outside your father. If you grow up with a good father, when you don't have a father, that's why mentors are important, because they can shape you where you need to go.
They can.
And so, like I said, the friend who I worked with at my former job, he encouraged me and told me I was smart enough. No one ever told me that, aside my parents. No one. It hit me where he said, you know what, go back to college. He attended Tennessee State, and he attended Trevecca, and that meant the world to me. That my mentor was here. I still call him now. And he tell me all kinds of stuff.
Right.
But I think just having somebody outside of my dad was always very key for me. And that's what I try to do with my organization, is letting kids know that there's somebody here who's gone in some of your, I ain't been through a lot of stuff you've gone through.
Right.
I don't know the pain of it going fatherless, but let me tell you this, the world don't care. The world don't care you didn't have a daddy. Right. So when you turn 18 and you're grown and you're out of high school, what you going to do? Are you just going to go get a regular warehouse job? Or can they become someone like you?
Right.
That says, you know what? I can teach you how to get a car dealership. I can teach you how to flip homes. I can teach, if that's your passion,
right,
I can teach you that. And so that's why I'm glad I asked you that question about the power of mentorship. So in your business, let me ask you this. If anybody's listening today that want to go into flipping housing, new construction, tell them the pros and cons. Tell them maybe a failure you had that kind of like, wow, man, I didn't know I was going to have to go through this in flipping homes or new construction. Tell my audience a little bit about that.
Well, you know, with real estate, it's all about the location, right?
Okay.
So now it's like, okay, where can I locate a home?
Okay.
So, you know, it's not, I think the easiest way to get into real estate now is to do wholesaling, because wholesaling is just about a piece of paper and you finding a property and locking it down, right?
Okay.
And when I say locking it down, I mean getting a contract on that property and then finding someone else to purchase it. And you can do that with zero money or just a contract, right?
Okay.
So that's the easiest way to get into real estate now. Other than that, you have to find a property, have good credit, put a deposit on the property, right? And then purchase it for whatever the going rate of whatever Nashville is going for now. I just came back from auction a few minutes ago, a couple hours ago, and the property that I thought should have brought $275,000 went for $450,000.
Jesus.
So prices are super high, still high. So I would suggest maybe even going to a smaller town where, you know, they haven't quite made it yet. You know, still the property's still reasonable, and you can get properties for, you know, $40,000, $50,000. And it's easy to get loans on properties like that, and then start one property at a time. That's all. That's what I did. One property at a time, and then build your way up.
Wow. So when flipping homes, is it like what I see on television, or is it totally opposite? Cause I see people be flipping houses and using sludge hammers to break walls and all that other stuff.
It's just like that.
For real?
Yeah. I
promise. My wife be watching. I be like, you know what? That ain't real. I'll just tell that stuff ain't real.
Yeah,
they ain't flipping houses that fast. It just looks so easy.
Right.
It looks so easy just to flip a house and make it. You can get a rundown home and then it looks good afterwards.
Right.
Sure, that's really like that.
It's just like that.
And then you used to sell it, and then you go to the next property.
Sell and go to the next property. I wish the Instagram would have been around when I first started, because I see the guys now doing the Instagram post and showing the videos and all. I'm like, man, I've been doing it. I missed it. So now we're trying to go back and do some videos and stuff.
As an African American, with your own business, have you seen it tough in competitive markets with like maybe white building developers, or is it kind of like the same? Or do you see like, hey, I got to work a little bit harder?
Yeah.
Have you seen that a whole lot?
Yeah, I think, we're African Americans, we're always challenged with capital. So, and credit. So one, we don't have the knowledge of how to do things. I can tell you, I've made several mistakes, and luckily, I got out of those mistakes or came out on top. But we don't have the knowledge or someone to lead us and tell us the things to do to make us successful. So we're kind of like a trial and error thing, which takes a lot more time. And then the capital, we don't have the means to the capital that we need. But I'm glad you asked that, because so now where I've been doing properties and building properties for profit, now we kind of changing paths and getting on the affordable home side. Okay. Which helps solve a problem that we have in Nashville and a lot of places where the average home is going for $450,000, right?
Hold up, say that again. The average house is $450.
It's $450 in Nashville.
My first house, I think I paid $205.
And that was high. Yeah,
it was high back then.
I paid $20,000. Right?
$450 is the average for. Is that like middle? Is that affordable housing?
No, that's not affordable. So that's just the average home prices in Nashville. So with that said, it's we're jumping over to the affordable side to help the problem that we have with people having an affordable house to live in. Yeah. So I'm the second cohort member of Red Academy, which just joined, which is a program for Amazon to actually help black builders like myself get into that space of building apartment homes and homes at an affordable rate.
So when I hear the word affordable housing, it's not you're talking about not just a regular house, or just like apartments, or just somewhere where you can live at.
Yeah, so they have different programs. So you can either build homes or you can build multifamily units, which would be like apartments or whatnot.
Because I was just always hear that word affordable housing. I'm not saying I'm naive, but I didn't know if it was something like $200,000 you can get a house for. And it wasn't $450,000 out of the house. So I applaud you for even getting into that space to try to help people get housing, because, like I said, I know it's hard. I don't want to move, but then the interest rates won't go down.
Ooh.
So now I'm sitting here in limbo, and I had a real estate agent who I'm looking at. She said, "You ready to look for a house?" I was like, "You know what? I am, but." Don't want to give up at 3 yet.
Right.
So
don't give it up. So
my point is that I applaud you for doing that. But our time is wrapping up. So let me ask you this. Why it's important now more than ever. Now, if I had asked this question, please forgive me. Just for young men to see someone like you that's very successful, why is it so important for young men now to try to look at going into that entrepreneurship style, or just if somebody was listening today that wanted to go into what you were doing? That's the question I meant to ask. What you're doing, what are some steps they need to do to say, you know what, I want to go into flipping a house, or I want to go into real estate? What was the thing you would give them some suggestion to do?
Basically read and educate yourself on contracts and how the real estate process works, and call somebody like me, somebody who's willing to mentor you and spend time with you.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
Because a lot of people, they know if you want me to mentor you, call me and hop in the car and ride. Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to go to the job sites, and I'm going to show you how to read plans, and I'm going to show you everything about the business, because that's what I love to do. So
I may have to do one of my mentor sessions with you.
All right.
And bring these boys out here with his heat is, and tell them, hey, you can become a business owner that can flip properties, build new construction. And I think that's important for young men to see in any aspect of entrepreneurship. And that's what I'm trying to do with my program, is that give kids another view. All right, you see all the bad stuff on social media and out here in the world. Why not see some things that's good where you can become another Reginald Howard? Yeah. That's the thing I want to try to do, because I applaud you, man, for what you're doing, because I know it's a tough space to get in.
It is.
And I still think sometimes I want to get into real estate, but I'm like, man, I don't even know the first thing to do. Because I see you guys, I know another friend of mine, he has a develop a company. Y'all driving the nice trucks. And I said, man, how can I get in that space, man? But I think for anybody who can become an entrepreneur, and being able to develop your own business, I do applaud you for that. And I think from our conversation today, you learned it from your parents. I think you learned that and you watched that and from your parents to develop who you are today. So I always ask this to every dad on my podcast. If you could leave 3 solid advice on parenting, what would you leave on this show on a father or even a mother's maybe listening? What is some responsibilities we need to do as parents in this day and age now?
Oh, let's see, 3 things. One, take your children everywhere you go. I mean, from, you going to Orlando, if you going to Paris, if you going to take your children every single to church, to the pool. I mean, just let them ride with you the whole entire time. And because they're picking up, what I was picking up when I was riding with my mom to Sally's to get supplies or Save More, whatever, to get supplies. I still remember Save More.
I still remember Save More. Man, you bring back a lot of memories. You done brought back Bert's. Bert's up here. Man, I was like, I done gave Bert a lot of money.
Right, that all shaped me. I was top salesman at Bert's. It's 14 years old.
Wow.
But but just take your kids with you. And one thing I'm learning now, because the kids have the cell phones or whatnot, is patience, man. I'm telling you, it has been just having patience with and that love. We say we love our kids, right? But if your kids, say something crazy to you or cuss you out or something like that, you really just got to keep on continuing to love them. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm learning now. And make sure you get them in church. And let them know who God is. For sure. Because that has definitely been my go-to when I get in any type of trouble, man. I'm telling you, I run to God. I don't run to the weed or to the drinks or I go to God, man.
I was taught the same thing, man.
Right.
I was taught that my mom, if I call my mom complaining, she said, you ain't been on your leads long enough.
Yeah.
She said, go back and talk to God. That's all she tell you.
Right.
And because she said, you grown now. I can't baby you. And you 48 years old.
Right.
She said, I can't baby you, so go back to God. And I appreciate that. I appreciate, number one, you coming on, giving the advice. I really want to learn more about you being an entrepreneur. And I will say this as we end. Are you having fun doing what you're doing every day?
I love what I do.
There you go.
Yeah.
You say you love what you're doing.
I love what I do.
That's cool, man. But thank you so much, man. I know we had to drive out here to this nice studio, man, to sit down. And because I wanted people to hear why it's important to be entrepreneurs. And I wish somebody could have told me about that. And I wouldn't be in so much debt in college right now. I would have had this stuff. I would have been a lot smarter. But like I said, you said the key word today. You said I didn't have a mentor till like 2003. I didn't have a mentor. Okay. I was just my parents was cool, but I was just just going through life.
Right.
And so now that's why I'm so passionate and adamant about, if you in 11th grade or 10th grade, let's get you, see where we can guide you.
Right.
Internships. I think kids in college need to know that. Get an internship as soon as possible. By your sophomore year, get in. That's what my brother did.
Absolutely.
And now he's in IT. So I think just that thing about having that mentor in your life can shape you and guide you where you need to go. So where can people find you if they had questions about properties or flipping homes? What can they find you at?
You can find me on LinkedIn at Reginald Howard, or Instagram, RHOW Properties. And my email is rhowhomes@gmail. So
website?
RHOW Homes TN.
Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all check them out, man. And thank you so much for taking out the time, man. You done educated me. I got to get into real estate, man. Got to make some money, man. Got to make some money, man.
I got some courses coming out you can take.
You going to go start teaching?
Yeah, I have to, right? I got to be the mentor now. So.
Wow. So you give back.
Absolutely.
Well, you keep me posted on that, man. I just want to learn it, man. I've talked to several people. Dwayne. Williams.
Yeah.
So those guys, I go play a little golf with him every week, every other week.
Yeah.
I'm just learning that space. Cause I see sometimes I think at 48 it's too old.
No, man.
All right, man.
It's never too late.
Well, keep me encouraged, man. So thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate you having me. Thanks for what
thank you so much for listening to another episode of Stronger Than My Father podcast, your most trusted podcast centered around restoring fatherhood in America. If you like what you hear, please click the subscribe button on our YouTube page and help us reach 1,000 followers before December. Also follows on all of our social media platforms where you can hear Stronger Than My Father podcast. Special thanks again to Jim McCarthy at jmvos.com for allowing us to use the studio and record another podcast episode. And also, lastly, if you like what you hear, please consider leaving a donation of $25 or more to help us keep this podcast on the air. You can find all our donation information at strongerthanmyfather.org/donate. God bless you and see you in another episode of Stronger Than My Father podcast.